I think we've lived in a dream world of who the ideal manager is, because I don't think this job is as desirable as we think it is, right? We think it's great because we see the potential. We know that somebody could take them to the next level. But when you weigh that and the data of all that, what available options existed, I don't think were anything but incrementally better in certain ways and probably negative in other ways compared to Gregg Berhalter, right? And so
I don't know about that. I mean, and you look at a Brendan Rodgers. Would you prefer a Brendan Rodgers?
Was he an option?
I mean, they were available. He just signed with Celtic.
Okay, so was he an option? But you're just saying names of people that are available.
I'm saying names of people who are available who, in my mind, if you're available, you have to be an option. It's the coaches who already have jobs who were interviewed.
But they have to be interested in the job. And what I'm telling you is that
Brendan Rodgers wouldn't be interested in the U.S. job?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
What about this job is attractive? What about U.S. soccer is attractive to a coach?
Coaching in a World Cup is attractive. You don't have to qualify. So for an international manager who has not coached in national teams or hasn't coached the U.S. before or in the U.S., what is attractive is that you get to play a guarantee that you play in a World Cup. Okay. That for a lot of managers is a big achievement, because if you've been in the club game your whole life, what other opportunity are you ever going to get to coach in a World Cup? A guarantee, because if you coach in Europe, it's super difficult to get to a World Cup unless you are with a top team, and even so, that's not a guarantee. It's very difficult considering all the competition in Europe. And same thing on other side. And if you go to other countries, if you're not speaking fluent in Spanish and you're not, highly respected and won a ton of trophies, you're not going to any of the powerhouses in South America. So to coach the U.S. men's national team when the World Cup is in the U.S., in North America, I think is a really tantalizing proposition. It is so attractive. So that's why I would think if you're Brendan Rodgers, of course you'd be interested.
Okay,
but you wouldn't do the Zinedine Zidane and be like, no, thanks. Like,
no, but what I'm telling, okay, Brendan Rodgers, for example, right?
Yeah,
has his team tanking down to go into the championship, gets fired, and is weighing an option of going back to Celtic or taking a U.S. men's national team job. A U.S. men's national team that made the round of 16.
Yes.
Right? And a young group. And you're asking him to step out of the club environment into this environment, and you're saying he's a better option. This guy has won the Scottish Premier League a couple times. That's all he's ever won.
What do you do with Liverpool? Finished second in the Premier League?
Okay.
Second in the Premier League. Second. Do I have to repeat that? This guy managed Liverpool, and they finished second. I know that's a while ago, but he is coached at the highest level. And I'm not saying Brendan Rodgers is the right candidate, but what I am saying is a coach like Rafa Benitez and Brendan Rodgers, they are considered higher up the totem pole in terms of quality coaches on the world scale. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, so there were options.
Rafa Benitez is not an option for the U.S. men's national team. Rafa Benitez, because we could never we bleed red, white, and blue. He doesn't. He does not care about the U.S.
So you're saying you have to bleed the colors.
No, but it has to be these guys are all making multiple millions of dollars a year. And I'm not talking about one or two. I'm talking about these guys are in the 7 to 10 million category. These guys, and Brendan Rodgers is not on the same level as Rafa Benitez in terms of honors won. If we had the same argument and you talked about Rafa Benitez and Brendan Rodgers in the same conversation about what they've won, Rafa Benitez would say, "This guy, you're comparing me to this guy, right? This guy won second place."
Yeah.
No.
You wouldn't know who you're being compared to. U.S. soccer is reaching out in a world where
but what I'm saying, Chuck, is you're comparing Gregg Berhalter to Brendan Rodgers, and then you're putting Brendan Rodgers in the same category as Rafa Benitez, and those guys are not in the same category as people. And the secondary part,
it's just other options. I'm not comparing them against each other. I'm comparing them versus Gregg Berhalter. I'm comparing whatever else is out there in the world to Gregg Berhalter. That's what I'm saying. Because you said there's not a coach that is going to be that much incrementally better than Gregg Berhalter.
Of what the options were. You're just throwing names out.
You don't know the options.
I don't know the options, but I can promise you that if they had the financial ability and you had the interest of a coach like that, I don't think they would pass up on that opportunity. I don't think this job was that attractive to a lot of people. I don't think this job was attractive to Jesse Marsh. I think this was a tumultuous time. And I don't think Jesse Marsh missed out on this job. Like, I don't think he put himself out there and then didn't get it. I think that there was a very small pool of coaches that we're talking about, more like Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry, guys like that, who I think have incrementally better capabilities in certain ways, and other abilities where they probably fall behind in terms of coaching a national team.
You think Jesse Marsh was not attracted to this job? You
Jesse
think
Marsh
he didn't want
openly
this
said
job?
he didn't want this job.
You think he didn't want this job?
Yeah, I don't think.
In what world do you think he was not attractive as a coach with no club, is not interested in getting an opportunity to coach the U.S. men's national team, when you and I both know that is like the highest prestige as an American coach, to coach the national team in a World Cup on home soil?
I can only go with what Jesse Marsh said, that he's focused on
when he was manager of Leeds. That's when he said that. When he had a job. Then he got fired. He got sacked. And then he doesn't have a job. And then those opportunities to manage clubs at that level, they go away.
Again, I think
he's not coaching in the Premier League. He's not coaching. He's not getting another opportunity in the Premier League unless he goes to another league and does extremely well. And
okay, it's Jesse Marsh
opportunity.
Okay. I'm taking the position of Jesse Marsh not being attracted to this job. Do you think he'd be better than Gregg Berhalter?
No. I've already said Gregg Berhalter is the best American coach.
Okay, so
what more do you need to hear from that?
So what's the difference in the argument? I'm telling you that it wasn't that attractive of a job for Jesse Marsh. It was posted that he's not going to be up for the job or whatever by his agent. But
yeah, the day that Gregg was announced, that's why his agent didn't post that 2 months ago. His agent didn't post that 3 months ago or 1 month ago. He posted it. He tried to
close any doors. Behind closed doors, you don't say anything.
No, come on, Heath. He posted that literally an hour before the news broke.
I'm telling you, you saying Brendan Rodgers and you saying Rafa Benitez is creating a false narrative of what I think the actual options were. For sure.
What I'm saying, I'm not saying they were the options. What I'm saying is, when you say, are there people out there who are available to coach that would be a step up from Gregg in terms of on paper? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they'd be I'm not saying they're better fits. I'm not saying that they should be coaching. What I'm saying is, on paper, there were better options out there that were available, not even tied to a club.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Of course, but
that's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree with that, but that in itself is really vague compared to what I think the realities that they lived in, which was the hopefulness that you could go to a Rafa Benitez and knock on his door and be like, hey, dude, we got this team. They're on the verge of something special, blah, 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 blah. And then make all the other things work. Run it through the all their whatever filters they created and the data they were trying to create to see, is this the right candidate? I think you could have had over-indexers, but you still have to have coaches that want to take this job. You still have to have.
In what world would you hire a coach that doesn't want the job?
Well, you wouldn't. That's my point. Is that
I see a comment too here from Alec Cooper, who said, there's never been a foreign coach to win the World Cup with a country. That is the case, but that's the case until it happens. And Brazil obviously are going with Carlo Ancelotti, who is not Brazilian and is foreign, but they think because of his ability to manage Brazilians who's played under him at AC Milan, at Real Madrid, they feel that he will be able to take this team back to the glory days of old. So in my view, you don't need a domestic coach. If you get a fantastic foreign option, you go with it. Brazil, who is Brazil, they don't go with Carlo Ancelotti if they think a foreign manager can't get them over the line and bring them back to where they need to be. So we can't be naive to think that we can't do that with a foreign manager, that we need an American manager. No, not at all. But we can all agree the U.S. looked incredible over Nations League. Mm-hmm. But Mexico is bad because right now they're coached really poorly, and we're not seeing the Mexican talent of old where you have Gio Dos Santos and Carlos Vela running at you, who can break down anybody 1v1, and a Chicharito who scores goals for fun with his eyes closed. They don't have those players right now. They're not at least being shown or selected. So, and then you look at the Canada side, they got wiped in the World Cup against quality opposition. Yeah, they had some opportunities, but they got absolutely wiped. So we're not playing England or France in the Nations League. So yeah, it's great that we're playing that way, but it's not obviously against an Argentina or Brazil, which is why I say Copa America is the real test. Is Gregg going to have us compete in a semifinals and push the envelope and show that we play the same way we did against Mexico and Canada, against the Brazil and Argentina? If he can do that, there's no questions asked. I think then we know U.S. Soccer got the decision right. The players got the decision right because the players wanted Gregg. I think that's where we really look to see what the measuring stick looks like in Copa America.
Yeah.